Fact-checking fraud. Claims, Trump's and Musk's bold assertions under scrutiny. By Claire Cranford and Amy Sherman, as reported by PolitiFact fact-checkers, have taken a hard look at President Donald Trump and Elon Musk's claims of uncovering massive fraud and abuse within the federal government. During Oval Office remarks on February 11th, Trump claimed that their efforts to cut spending had revealed billions and billions of dollars in waste, fraud, and abuse. He stressed, "We found fraud and abuse. I would say those two words as opposed to the third word that I usually use, but in this case, fraud and abuse." Trump and Musk repeatedly used the terms fraud or fraudster during their Q&A session, but neither side has presented evidence of criminal wrongdoing. At a White House press conference on February 12th, when a reporter asked for proof of these claims, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt cited contracts for diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, a contract for the Council for Inclusive Innovation at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and an expense related to climate change efforts in Sri Lanka. Leavitt argued that these expenditures were fraudulent, in her view wasteful, and an abuse of the American taxpayer dollar. PolitiFact noted that while a Government Accountability Office report from April 2024 estimated that the federal government loses between $233 billion and $521 billion each year to fraud, nothing the administration has identified constitutes evidence of criminal fraud or corruption. As Jessica Tillipman, Associate Dean for Government Procurement Law at George Washington University, pointed out, fraud and corruption are crimes. This administration simply has different spending priorities than the last administration, but to label all of it as fraud or corruption is extremely misleading. Critics have also raised concerns over the dismantling of the federal government's fraud-finding mechanisms. The president has fired more than a dozen inspectors general, officials whose duty is to expose fraud and inefficiencies, and paused enforcement of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, which prohibits businesses from accepting bribes from foreign officials. Government oversight bodies, including auditors at the U.S. Government Accountability Office and federal inspectors general, continue to report on waste, fraud, and abuse. David M. Walker, a former government comptroller, explained that while many instances of misuse might be classified as waste or abuse, fraud is a high legal standard that requires evidence of willful misrepresentation, something that has not been conclusively demonstrated by recent examples cited by the administration. Historically, inspectors general have played a crucial role in identifying criminal activity and ensuring accountability. Congress created the Inspector General Act of 1978 in the wake of Watergate to safeguard independent investigations into government wrongdoing. Since then, inspectors general have led to thousands of prosecutions and identified billions in potential savings. However, with the removal of these key watchdogs, such as the recent dismissal of U.S. Agency for International Development Inspector General Paul Martin, there is growing concern that the current administration's actions may be more about reshaping spending priorities than rooting out actual fraud. In summary, while the government does face significant challenges with waste and misuse of funds, the evidence that new criminal fraud has been uncovered remains unsubstantiated. This fact-check, conducted by PolitiFact and reviewed by PBS and Politico, serves as a reminder that terms like fraud carry a specific legal weight that demands proof. Fact